Good evening. I will call to order Lincoln City Council. Today is Thursday, February 5th, 2026. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Auditor Omni, roll call please.
Councilwoman Artavia.
Here.
Councilwoman Davis.
Here.
Mayor Berglund.
Here.
Councilman Bjornstedt.
Here.
All right, first we have the agenda approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I make a request as far as an amendment?
Okay.
I would like to add under new old business, number 9. The resolution number 2026-01 pertaining to the authorization of transferring of funds in an employee pension account to the city's Indy PERS account. Under old business number 9.
Renumber accordingly.
Remember, of course.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
We have a first by Councilwoman Davis. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Second by Councilwoman Artavia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so moved. Next, we have the consent agenda. Under that, we have the January 22, 2026 minutes. And I would actually move to remove those minutes from the consent agenda to allow for edit. We had discussed back in 2024, following the Attorney General's open meeting record guidelines that would cover the minutes, to have motions, votes, action items from council rather than those full discussion points. And that was to basically reduce the costs of publications. Because at this point, we're still publishing in the Bismarck Tribune. So I would like to move to that, but I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with removing the 1/22/26 council minutes.
We have the first by Councilwoman Davis. Second by Councilman Bjornstedt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and so we will have those presented at the next meeting. Now is time for a public comment period. Is there anybody online? No comments. Okay, second call for public comment. Lacey is on.
Hello.
Hello.
I was at the last council meeting. Lacey Brandt at 89 Bentine Drive. The topic of discussion will be the same for me as last time with the chicken ordinance. We weren't able to come tonight, but we still hope that the council will consider looking at it, doing something with it, just because it's worth taking a look at. So gave my whole spiel last time, so I'm sure you remember.
Thank you very much. And now we'll have second call for public comment. Auditor Omni, did we have anybody bring it or send anything in?
No, ma'am.
All right, this is third and final call for public comment. And hearing seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7 under old business is that chicken ordinance update. I guess you brought it forward. Talking.
Charging was.
I didn't know
You got into that somewhat.
Yeah, I think that, the council had asked about, whether or not you could put it on as a referral to the voters. And I think I sent a email to all of you setting out what the process would be. I don't know if you have questions about that.
I had somebody contact me. And I guess I had to confer with them that what would be nice is to have the petition go around with signatures and bring that forward. You know, there's a lot that goes into, and she was actually supposed to be here this evening, but not. That the fear is, are people going to read through and vote accordingly, maybe without knowing what it entails having chickens, and are we gonna then next year, winter comes and have a bunch of chickens going up to different farms and whatnot, and that's neither here nor there, but the discussion was mostly that it would be nice to, as typically with other actions, to be put on a ballot, to have those signatures gathered to show support for the petition.
If I'm not mistaken, in your email, you said that we don't currently have anything in the ordinances for residents to do that.
Councilman, so the issue is, well, the city is not subject to the provisions of the Century Code regarding how citizens can initiate a measure in the city. The Century Code has provisions that apply to commission forms of government and modern council forms of government. I don't think anything has adopted the modern council form. So there isn't anything in the Century Code, and there's nothing in any of the city's ordinances. But the city's home rule charter reserves to the citizens the ability to initiate measures. The question becomes, what is the procedural requirements, as far as like, there's a requirement about how many signatures they need, but we don't have necessarily the timing provisions that like the Century Code does. The somewhat open issue is whether or not the Century Code's procedural standards for how this process works would apply to the city, absent the city and enacting something in its code that says, here's how we're enacting this right in the home rule charter. So there's a little bit of a gap there where the law is not 100% clear. But certainly by ordinance, you can set up a process. So like your options are to, by ordinance, set up a process for the citizens to be able to petition with a time limit similar to what the Century Code has. The city could move forward using what's in the Century Code, but it isn't 100% clear, and I couldn't find any Attorney General's opinions that indicated that we can do that without enacting some kind of ordinance. There's some support in North Dakota case law, but again, it's one of those issues that's not 100% clear. So that's just a mechanism generally about how a citizen in Lincoln would initiate some change to the code. The other, I think, problem with that, something like this, is that if the city's going to adopt changes to the code to allow people to have chickens, it's more than just adopting something that says you can have chickens. The number of chickens, the kind of chickens, what kind of pens, that there, there's a whole, I'm assuming there would be a whole comprehensive chapter that would be necessary. It's maybe not wise to have a citizen draft that and start circulating. I mean, certainly they can. It might be more wise for the council to address that issue. I think that's where the council was maybe 2 years ago when they last considered this, which I think one of the councilmen brought some proposed language and they didn't enact it. They said we'll put it on ballot and see if people want us to enact this. So I'm not really sure how you get over that hump. You certainly could do the same thing, put it on a straw poll. You could adopt something and see if what the reaction is, or you could allow for some kind of petition to initiate the measure. But the danger of an initiated measure is that you might end up with some chaos depending on how that measures that.
Do we know, I would imagine there's a deadline that this has to be in as far as having something like that. Do we know when that would be? But I'm just trying, in my mind, I'm just trying to think out. Okay, I'm just trying to think out, like, if we go through the process of setting up an ordinance to set up a clear timeline on what residents can do for petitioning and getting this drafted and everything. How close are we to this deadline? Or is it even possible for them to do that if we are waiting to set up an ordinance to do this?
So there's not really a deadline made, so if the city receives a petition that, again, because the home rule charter does not have provisions and timing provisions in it. If you look at the century code has timing provisions in it. Depending on how close you are to the next election and how many signatures are on the petition. So again, it's somewhat ambiguous as to whether or not those century code provisions apply. If they do apply, then it doesn't really matter the timing, it just matters whether the city can wait until the next election to have it on the ballot, or whether we'll have to have a special election to address the petition, assuming the petition passed. I'm not sure what the timing would be if we wanted to tell the citizens we want to put this on the next ballot, so here's the kind of the deadline for when we like hold your petitions until this date and submit them. You don't submit them later than, like, I'm not sure about that, that's something to look into, but the century code has timing provisions that if you get the certified petitions received within this window, then you could wait till the next election, and if it's received outside that window, then you have to handle it a different way.
Attorney, because yeah, we definitely have a deadline, right, to get on the ballot, right? You have to have it in by a certain time to. For that language to be placed on a ballot, right?
Yeah, it's not like it can be like the day before the election or something, have it.
Yeah, if it's a petition, I think it has to be early enough to verify signatures.
Sure.
But I think
Yeah, I looked at it from the standpoint of if the city receives a certified petition, it has to act within so many days. I didn't look at it from the other side, which is what is the time limit? I'll get it on the Secretary of State or whatever to get it on ballot.
I think that's probably my biggest concern at this point. I think we definitely need to get something in our ordinances to clarify what residents can do to have something put on the ballot if they feel the council. If the council
Correct.
has said that we are not willing to do something like that. The residents should still have some kind of say in that. My concern is that the process for us to get this set up how we want it might put it beyond the timeline on when they could actually do it for this election, if they want it to be on it. I think I'm starting to lean towards the opinions, since I've had some people reach out to me and seen comments on social media and stuff. I've seen a lot of people on both sides, some wanting this ordinance to go in, some not wanting it. I would think I would be of the opinion that it would be good to have another one of these straw man polls on this next election. And then we can work on setting this up how we want to. We are forced to a deadline to get that in if possible. And then the residents can decide if they want us to continue looking at this chicken ordinance anymore, or if they kind of want to put it to bed.
I feel, council, that the citizens have voted a few times on this matter. And therefore it doesn't make it a high priority for me, although I still agree with you that we need to look at our ordinances and prepare those. I don't know that it's the highest priority in my purview, as I understand things, but I think it's something that we need to look at and deal with so that people are within their rights and know what they need to do in terms of getting a petition going, if and when they're ready to do that work. But I think just, again, because it has been on the ballot in, you know, a few times, and the citizens have not voted for it, it doesn't make it for me something that I'm feeling like we have to do right now and put more money towards getting that done in terms of legal fees and figuring things out. I think it's something that we address, but for me, it's not high priority at this job.
And to add to that, my understanding is this is not the legally binding action after the vote anyways. It's more about, are we interested in this, and let's go forward. Well, we already know there's an interest in it. So I would be in agreement with Councilwoman Artamia, definitely want to set things up, but maybe allow us time to get all those eggs in the basket. Okay, and because again, you know, I appreciate people wanting to ensure out, but allowing us time to set it up and get those procedures, ordinance moving.
So would it be the opinion of the council then to not be concerned about putting anything regarding the chickens on this upcoming election, but work on setting up the process for the residents to do it if they so choose in the future to petition?
I think it would be beneficial for the community to have an opportunity to have things on the ballot, and if we set up those procedures. I think that would be.
So for me, I recall, right, the last ballot stating if council should, not a, we're going to, or do you agree in this or do you not agree in this? Do you want this or don't you? It was
Not a yes or no.
right, so I don't think we can necessarily take the last voting quite into consideration, for a yes or a no, in my opinion. Cause it wasn't straight cut through, we're gonna do this, do you want it? Yes, no. So if we go back to the first one, I don't recall the, outcome of that one. But seeing the things online, right, and personally, I am in agreement of having the citizens have a say and allowing them to petition, to make ordinances and to make sure that the government and the city are following the things the citizens want, right? We know that there's interest out there for that, that's for sure, if people want it, then I think, it should be an option. So I don't have a problem with putting a straw poll vote on the next one. However, I would like a definite, maybe not necessarily a straw then, right? I would like to actually put it on the ballot and say, do you want it, yes or no? Just so that we can get like an accurate.
But if they say yes, and I'm sorry, attorney, if we put on, do you want chickens, yes or no? Then we have to allow chickens and we don't have anything set up in ordinance, regulate them.
Not yet, but then that's the process of setting it up, and then we sit down and go through what we want to put in there, how many limits, the
But that could also
Facility.
change the vote of the people, if we have, say, we can have 3 dogs, 2 cats, 4 chickens, and 2 goats.
right.
Is somebody gonna vote yes or no, depending on what that is? I think everybody should have a vote, but I think we should have things set up that this is what it looks like. Because that could impact that yes or no vote.
100% agree with you, versus putting 10 versus 2 right? It
Yeah.
is definitely gonna make a big difference, and I totally agree, a number probably should be on there. Just so that we're aware and in agreement of what's ahead and what's to come and what we're allowing, but that's my opinion. Hey,
So what are your thoughts?
Well, for sure, we need to get something on the books as far as the process for residents to petition, put something on there. As far as the chicken ordinance goes at this time. I can maybe work on putting something together that could be a more defined entry onto the ballot and bring it to the council, see if it's something that we want to do at that time. And if not, then we just get things set up for the citizens to be able to petition and begin the process that way. So,
And that would be, for backyard chickens or any other.
yeah, that would be for any kind of thing that they would, basically anything that they feel should be on the ballot that the council has not chosen.
I'm in agreement with that.
I guess I would like to see us have a plan before we put things on the ballot.
Okay.
Because then we're not going back and forth, but that's a decision. For council, but
I think it'd be beneficial for us to think through it and to kind of iron it out and figure out how to get out of the weeds on some of it so that we can create a clear path for citizens who do want to petition. I feel like that's the democratic process that I've seen in other cities.
to not come forward with a proposed ordinance, go through the process of setting
And yeah,
the procedure.
again, just because it has already been on the ballot before and the citizens have said no, and I understand their point, and it's a good point to the wording, but I feel like citizens are saying no versus yes. So I feel like that buys us time to do it the right way, to help them set forth a clear path for petitioning in a democratic way, you know, for their voices to be heard and for us to then put it on the ballot if they get it on the ballot with enough signatures.
And so that would be the 2028 ballot rather than the 2026.
I think the timeline
Yeah,
is a
that's-
little crucial, tough.
I assume that there is.
Okay. So are you still willing to work on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can still kind of work on things, I guess regarding both aspects of it. And for now, we can just take it off of the old business until I have something new to bring to the council.
Council, is that a decision?
Okay, with that.
So just so that I'm clear. One of the questions is whether the city is going to adopt some kind of enabling ordinance. That's something that you're going to work on.
I can do some research into that, yeah.
And so nothing will be on the agenda or on the ballot for 2026. But we'll have the procedures and all that set up for it to, or any other petition to be brought forward for the next election in 2028.
Yeah, so I think the only disconnect is, the citizens have a right to petition for changes to the ordinances.
Mhm.
That right is not tied to the 2-year election cycle.
Okay.
Right, so the question is that in the city's home rule charter, there is this right to initiate measures. But your code doesn't have any enabling ordinance that says how that right gets enabled. And so the answer is that that right is not enabled until you pass an ordinance, or that we rely on the century code provision for the enabling portion of it. And that's not tied to a 2-year election cycle. It's a little bit like if the citizens try to remove somebody from the council, when they have enough signatures for certification, that will trigger an obligation to put it on the ballot. If you're within so many days of the next election, you can wait till that election. If it's 2 weeks after the election, then you're gonna have to have a special election to do that, right? So you can set out some of that in your enabling ordinance,
Okay,
right? But
So we
I don't think the city's going to be able to have an enabling ordinance and say you can only exercise this right in 2-year blocks.
Okay,
That makes sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah, so that really the issue is that your home rule charter creates these rights, and they're also enshrined in the century code, and they're also enshrined in the North Dakota State Constitution. It's just that we don't have any enabling ordinance, and there's two North Dakota Supreme Court cases that I looked at, and one suggested that you needed an enabling ordinance, and one suggested that you don't, and I didn't. I spent enough time on it to send you an email, but I didn't go into a deep dive to actually, try to see if I could figure that out. We certainly want me to do more work on it, but I just thought that I would bring like kind of what that preliminary review looked like, which is probably better for the city to adopt its own enabling ordinance, because the century code provision has a different number of signatures than what
Than what
our
we would.
home rule charter does, and some other things that just don't line up there.
So then would you do direction to do that enabling ordinance, or is that something that the office would be able to, or is that as that city manager, or are we holding off on that and they'll having council do that?
I'm going to say that the council will have to do that at this time.
Okay, so then that's still.
It might be that
And enabling ordinance.
the city's model code might have this set out, they might already have a.
It might already be there, yeah.
Or you can take one from Fargo or Bismarck, but.
Why don't I do an initial search, and look myself, and then give you some direction?
Works for me.
All right, we'll bring that up then at the next meeting.
Thank you.
So keep it, thank you, auditor, on old business. For the next, or is
So it looks,
just.
it's not necessarily the chicken ordinance, that would.
Right.
No, that's an
We'll
enabling.
just change, take that on and put under new business, the enabling word.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? I don't find so. Okay, so now we have the 2026 council priorities. They were outlined, do we want to just have updates to this, because, I've been working on the zip code, actually had a meeting with the developer today to kind of solidify how we get those street names changed and get that aligned, so we would be more apt to have those my hard points. So that I've got comprehensive plan is one thing that we want to make sure that we have, in discussions with our interim auditor. Talking about more of a strategic plan for what we call the comprehensive plan, that, 5-year plan.
Mayor Berglund, may I interrupt, please?
Yes.
The comprehensive plan is that longer one, that is that 20-year. I had debated whether to bring that up at this point or to wait
Okay.
until my report, but that comprehensive plan is supposed to be that 20 to 40-year plan. And then the strategic plan is that 3 to 5 year. And what I had talked with our city engineer earlier, I would like to go over the comprehensive plan, which is going to be, that would be pretty all encompassing, a lot of input, a lot of community input. And then once we come to how we put that together, then we would jump into the strategic plan and break that apart into that 3 to 5 year, the closer time frame that really involves you as the council. So it was worked on. We did work on a plan. The city engineer, Kevin Nelson at the time, and I had a plan. We were almost finished with it, but we had both exited about the same time. So I haven't had time yet to look and see the emails. I think I actually see that there are some in there about that. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit, but priorities, yes, to have those plans set up. It is a council priority.
And so the question is, I know we had done a little changing with portfolios at the last meeting. Does somebody want to be part of this discussion? as far as what we would now call that strategic plan. Shorter term, that 3 to 5, which has been worked on now through the comprehensive plan, or do I continue on that?
I think that I would be okay if we waited to form that committee of when the council is going to help me with that. Maybe we can, I don't know that we're going to be able to do that, in the next month.
So are you saying not to have planning and zoning take charge of? Because that's currently who's spearhead.
There was that question back then as well, that planning and zoning take that plan over. But it's more encompassing than building and growth. There's other things, other ideas and it's not just planning and zoning, I think. If we could revisit this maybe in 2 weeks or in a month, when I have better grasp of it, that would be great.
Okay, we have about 48 weeks left. For 2026, so we can do that. Wastewater facility, that will be Councilman Ernsten. And Councilwoman Davis, you had mentioned abandoned homes in the beautification process.
Yep.
So is that something that you're going to
Mhm.
work on?
Yep.
Are there any other priorities that you would like to see and take ownership of for the 2026? You might be busy with this.
Oh, yeah, that's probably gonna be pretty time consuming, but, I'd say. I feel like setting up these ordinances, allow the residents, their condition and have a little more control, would be a pretty good priority, but
Okay,
we're gonna be in a process of working on that.
and that's part of updating ordinances,
Yeah.
so, okay. All right, so we'll go on then, on to old business number 9, resolution 2026-01.
Would you like me to read it? Or is it sufficient not to read it?
I think it needs to be read unless, maybe that council is read.
You summarize it.
No, I will read it. Resolution number 2026-01. A resolution authorizing the transfer of funds in an employee pension account to the city's ND PERS account. Whereas the city of Lincoln auditor has discovered the city has an employee pension account. Whereas after consulting with the city attorney and North Dakota Public Employees and Retirement System, the auditor has determined that the funds were improperly placed into an employee pension account and that the funds should have been placed in the city of Lincoln's ND PERS account. And whereas the employee pension account balance as of February 5th, 2026 it's blank.
349,000. I don't know do you want me to go grab those?
You said 349,000?
I would like that exact number, please. Thank you. Now therefore, be it resolved by the city council of the city of Lincoln, North Dakota. 1, the funds in the employee pension account shall be transferred into the city's ND PERS account, and number 2, the city auditor is hereby authorized and directed to execute all actions necessary to complete the transfer. Dated this 5th day of February 2026. City of Lincoln, Mayor Kelly Berglund, and City Auditor Lisa Ani. And I believe we should have interim in there. But then do we have interim at the top as well?
One it needs to be.
Correct.
I don't think there is a title of interim.
There isn't an interim, either in the auditor or I'm not.
Yeah.
Can I pick?
No.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
You did, you're here.
All right, then we'll just leave it as the auditor. I am gonna say that I'm walking into this blindly with my name at the bottom of this form. I do understand this is something that I was working on before I left as well. And I knew that the money wasn't where it was supposed to be. When I got here and when I left, it still wasn't where it was supposed to be. So I'm glad to see that this is gonna be rectified and put where it's supposed to be. So I will sign it, not being fully part of this resolution making. But I do want that amount. She's not back yet. Before the votes, yeah.
Motion.
Yeah. I wanna know what it is.
Correct. Thank you. The number is $346,551.91. And then therefore it will be transferred upon completion of this motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 2026-01.
We have a first by Councilwoman Davis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Bjornstad. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We need a roll call, please.
Yes.
Artavia,
Yes.
Bjornsted,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Berglund, do you vote? Or
I
only
do
on a
not.
tie? Okay. 3A.
All right, next under new business, the clerk of courts administrative specialist job description.
Mayor, oh, hello, there we go. Mayor Berglund, council. One of the things that I've been here 2 weeks and I could see that we are, needing some more help. We are needing some more help on the administrative side. We are, what I'd like to do is our clerk of court is not necessarily needing to be full-time as the position sits. What I'd like to see is that she is budgeted at this point. She is budgeted full-time with benefits. And 100% of that full-time is budgeted out of our general fund. What I'd like to see as we start looking at the job description changes, I'd like you to keep in mind that I would like 100% of this employee to go over to the police department wages. And I'll explain that. I did have, let me hand you these. Do you see your copies in front of you? Right now, the blue we have is the chief. That's what, some of the duties that I would like this full-time position to start assuming or assisting with. The pink is the prosecuting attorney fees. And that is one thing. Oh, I'm sorry, what are you? Sorry, you're looking at this one?
Okay.
Yep. But the budget is, we'll get to that part, but I needed that in front of you. The pink part is the prosecuting attorney, items that this new position can start assuming. Which in fact would lower our prosecuting attorney fees as their line item budget, if you can look at 2026 final appropriations, was 120,000. Okay, so what I want you to see by looking at that is that you also, sorry, I'm a little miscombobulated. It's been a while since I've talked in front of a group. the spreadsheet behind you. I want you guys to take a look at that. These are the 2025 actuals that came out of prosecuting attorney fees that can be assumed by this position. So I asked if our clerk would go through each invoice and see where we could pull those job descriptions from that prosecuting attorney fee. And that, you see the bottom dollar? We always like to look at that bottom dollar, how much we're going to be saving by assuming it in-house versus hiring and having our prosecuting attorney do that work. It is a little over $22,000 that we would have saved in 2025. I do want to mention something on here, which is that the actuals, you see your budgets, you see the police budget. The actuals for 2025 are actually done, and I'd like to tell you what that number is. That's 71,000. A little over 71, is that right? Was it a little over 71? It was a little over 71,000. The year before, it was 115,000. The year before that, it was 114,000. So I questioned why. Why did we have such a dip in our expenses last year? Well, it came in the fact that our chief has decided to start taking back some of those things that were being done by our prosecuting attorney. He was saying, no, we don't need that done. So on top of the budget being over budgeted, the police department will stay under zero. Actually, they will actually save money this year, even by bringing that full-time position over. So what I'm asking from you tonight, council and Mayor Berglund, is I would like to change the job description to include some of those line items that are highlighted. The ones that are the chiefs, that'll be an assistance, not completely taking over those, correct? I would like to change the job description to, I would like to send this job description over to Bold Minds to be part of that step and grade. And then 3, I would like to send it out for candidates to start applying for. Those are the items that I'd like to address with this agenda item. And do you have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
Don't know the answer to this. Can the clerk of court serve on the court side and on the prosecution side without any kind of?
And I did ask our clerk of court to be here as well as our chief to answer any of those questions, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello, everyone. Stephanie, I'm with the clerk report. I did reach out to a numerous amount of other municipalities to see if any clerks amongst them are doing what we're asking to do. And there's currently 3, Newtown, Eula, and Tioga. And we've asked the judge if he thought that there was possibly any conflict of interest by doing this. He can't think of any. I asked the clerks in the other municipalities if their attorneys or anybody has any qualms on if this could be a conflict of interest, and nobody could come up with anything for me. So since there is some other municipalities that are already doing these, Newtown is the person that does all 3. She does the clerk of court, PD admin, and the prosecuting support. Nobody could come and tell me one way or the other if there was conflicts. So I think if other municipalities are doing it, I think it would be safe that we could make it a full-time position. So.
Thank you. That was my only question. I just don't know the answer to the top of my head. But that would be.
And obviously, I think we would want to verify that prior to putting out.
I was more concerned about whether the municipal judge was going to have any You know, what the key was to have an issue.
And he does not, you have talked with,
Yeah,
I'm overly concerned about.
he doesn't have any. Confirm. Yeah, it's been.
one of the, as she was talking, another part of the budget on that is 20% of our administrative assistant already. Her wage is coming out of PD. That would no longer happen. That be if the clerk of court slash administrative, what do we call that? Excuse me. Specialist, the police support assistant specialist. If that will 100% go to the PD. And then we would take back that 20% of the admin. Will come back over to the general. That is
So
the plan.
So, just so I'm understanding it correctly, right? The pay then would be under the police department and then not the general fund for office, right?
Correct.
Oh,
Yep, so in actuality, it's about 80% that they're going to assume. But it's going to relieve them of that prosecuting line item, which is already over budget. Compared to what last year's actuals were.
But we
And
would
then-
still have.
And chief is okay with this and ran through the budget numbers and. Okay,
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yes, I have been working with him on this.
And that we would still have a prosecuting
Yes,
line item. But it would
yes,
just be more on the prosecution and not the administrative.
correct. You're going to look at the bottom dollar at the end of this year. Because the line items are going to switch around a little bit. Mhm.
Okay, council?
And I don't really have involvement in what Gavin does on the prosecution side. I assume, I don't know if the person who created that chart used all of the legal assistant time, or did they use some of it? Cause it probably will eliminate almost all of it, but my guess is that Gavin will still, or whoever the prosecutor is, will
Mhm.
probably still have some need for
Of
legal
course,
assistant.
we are anticipating
Yeah,
that
yeah.
still.
So I just wanted. It's probably.
That
probably
line
not
item
gonna
is
get to-
not going away.
Yeah, probably not.
We
gonna
do know that.
Get to zero,
Yes.
but you probably can get it lower because of the
Correct.
administrative stuff that she does that
Correct,
could be done in-house.
correct. And if we are already budgeting that clerk of court as a full-time position, it's not bearing too much weight by changing the job description.
Just from one department.
That's what we're doing. We're changing the fund.
And I don't get a vote, but just from a logistical standpoint, I think if you can move a lot of that administrative work in-house, then over the long run, you're more likely to be able to get somebody to do the prosecution on a true monthly retainer. Right, like right now it's hourly.
It is hourly.
It's really hard to predict.
I
But
agree.
if the administrative load is really just somebody coming out twice a month. And they appear and somebody has everything done for them, you're
Mhm.
more apt maybe to get a lawyer that says, I'll do it for X amount per month.
Mhm.
And that might be a way of really kind of reducing that, streamlining that and reducing that.
Mhm.
The only question I have on this is the position reports to the municipal judge. This still is a city employee, so why would that not be under the chief or the
That
auditor?
is let me look at that piece. And if you would, either one of you care to comment on that piece?
I don't think it does. Does it say, where does it say that?
First year, position summary, last sentence.
Thank you, sir.
Cause the roles are still separated.
That might be statutory.
It is statutory,
Yeah.
because when, with the clerk of court, with the clerk of court duties, that is. You report to the municipal judge. The judge is my supervisor when it comes to clerk of court duties. As far as the administrative support, the prosecutor support, that is something that could fall under the chief of police. But when it comes to the clerk of court side and all of the procedures and policies that they require. My judge is my supervisor.
Thank you.
Yep.
So should we have it in writing that she's got two supervisors then?
It is the first paragraph.
It is folks.
Mhm.
Okay. Clearly, I only read the highlighted part.
Council. Discussion.
I would say anytime we can do more work in-house. And save money. As well, like as long as we are still completing all the tasks that need to be completed. I'm all for it.
Councilman Martelli.
I absolutely concur. Council Bierstead.
I have one more question then, just to verify, clerk of court / police administration, specialist, will you be housed in office then, right, still, or transitioning back over, transitioning to?
We do plan to move that desk over to the police department.
Okay,
That will be a full-time over there. There is no need to come back. I mean, of course, there'll be residual, but
right.
there would be no need for that position to be on our side or the the finance side.
That was the only other question I had, thank you.
Mhm.
So if we could just, for record's sake, have a roll call vote on the new position and
So what all would be included in?
approving the new position and having it.
Updated position description.
I'd make a motion to update this position description and approve this position
For posting.
for posting as well.
Okay, we have a first by Councilwoman Artavia,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Bjornstad. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? And we can get the roll call.
Councilwoman Artavia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis,
yes,
Councilman Bjornstead.
Yes,
and then, auditor, do we know when this would be posted?
We can, I believe we can get it posted by Monday.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be great.
Yes, we can. I need to have my people back there telling me if they can do it. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have the citizen interest form submissions for vacant council seat.
Correct. That was on the agenda before we decided we were going to have a second meeting. So that can be not addressed because we will address it at our second meeting.
Thank you. Under new business, item 11 then would be the streetlight head units.
yes, if we could have Greg come on. He has an update on the headlight unit that we were gonna test out. For possible purchase.
Mayors. So I reached out to Fetzer Electric about those light heads that we discussed earlier, and we decided to purchase one, put it up, see how it does. And we got it put up, and it's actually brighter than the ones we currently have up, and it's smaller. It's not as big as the ones that are currently up right now. And I reached out to him today to ask him how many he had and how much he would want for basically the rest of them. Because we gotta have so many for Capital Electric's contract stored here. And he said that he's got 26 of them on a pallet. And he would sell the entire pallet for $6,500. that would be $250 a light head. If we were to purchase them one by one, he would sell them to us for $300 each. And the light heads that we're looking at, if we are to purchase them not from him and just from somewhere else, they are around $800. So we're getting, yes. So we're getting a pretty good deal if we were to purchase these. So, I was just kind of I was wondering if we would be able to have a vote on whether we could buy them all. That way we would have them for whenever we need them, because they are so cheap.
Director Shoot, how do you feel about the number 26? Do you feel like that's a good number, or would we be able to keep that same kind of light going forward, or would we switch to something else when we ran out?
No, so if we have the 26 of them, if we ever do run out, they still make these lights. We would just have to buy them at $800 a piece.
So do you have any idea for us about how long you think these could last us?
If they don't get struck by lightning, they could last probably 4 or 5 years. That's a guesstimate. I don't know. They're an LED light. They're supposed to last so long. Do they go out? Yes, they're electrical. I mean, stuff happens, but as of right now, that's kind of where we're at with that on the price of them. And that's because we have the one, and I know we got to have like 3 on hand for the Capital Electric contract. And right now we don't have any. So,
Other than the one that's already installed.
right.
And then, you said it was brighter, right?
Yes.
Does it give a bigger range of light than 2, or?
I don't think it gives a bigger range. It's just brighter in that general area. Yes.
So a 61 instead of a 40.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
It's not a soft white. It's more of a bright white. I might be how it. Oh, they say I can. If we do, there'd be 26 of them.
So, if I may, I had a meeting with Director Schutte earlier this weekend, we're discussing this, and the dollar amount is technically below the amount paid for the council approval. But with this being a trial that we were testing out the one first, Director Schutte felt that it'd be appropriate to make sure that the council was on board with proceeding with these new headlights or these new headlamps. So,
And we are looking at redoing the building specs. So the new developments anywhere else, they will have this light fixture in the building specs. So the contractors have to put up a certain light pole with a certain head, and that's how it has to be. So they have to follow that. So these would last a long time. I mean, we don't have to supply these for contractors to put them up. These are just for replacing. So, and I know with the Capital Electric contract, when a light pole in town, a wood one has to be replaced, they are going to put in a concrete pole, and then this light head would go on that pole. So that is where they would probably get used up more than anything else.
At a discount of $550.
Yeah.
as long as it's a non-perishable item.
If it ain't working, it ain't getting worn out.
And my question was just that, the construction specs, making sure that those cement poles that are being installed through development
Mhm.
would work with
always
these
use a
too.
warrant.
Yep.
Okay, so council,
I make a motion for Director Shoot to buy more lights, or well, headlights.
yes. All right, we have a first by Councilwoman Davis,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Bjornstad. All in favor, say aye.
I,
And opposed? If we could get roll call vote.
On top of you,
Yes.
Davis,
yes,
Pearson,
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And now we will have the engineer report and the project update. Marcia, SEH. Good evening, Mayor Berglund, council members. Everyone got a chance to enjoy the nice weather we had today. Before you, this is a little different layout. Usually we go over the wastewater treatment plant as a old business item, and we've just lumped everything together for this evening. I don't have a lot of updates for you regarding the wastewater treatment facility. We are in talks with them about geotechnical work. That is something that my affiliate Matt Scheibel was very instrumental in developing previously, and it has been working with Ms. Olson to update what all went into that development of geotechnical work. If you remember last meeting, I mentioned about supplies that had been ordered specifically for this project, and Director Shute didn't know what I was talking about, so we were able to locate those, and I hope he has them because they have been shipped to him. Great. So we're working on making sure that they're up to date on what had all been done thus far with geotechnical. And then Director Shute updated me that there was forward motion regarding site visit to South Dakota to see some different plants. Ms. Olson had stopped yesterday, I believe, to discuss going and visiting those sites so that they can have some input from those different locations to see what was things they like about the facility, what doesn't work well, and maybe get some input from the staff that will be running our plant. So Director Shute, can you share with us when that is planned to be?
Council, Mayor, so she stopped, yeah, Ms. Olson stopped yesterday. And we talked about going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to check out their wastewater treatment plant. And we agreed on the day of next week, Wednesday. So what we kind of planned was we would leave here Tuesday evening, stay in Fargo. Then we would carpool with Apex down to Sioux Falls, check that plant out, and then I believe we would be staying down there one more night to visit other facilities that are around them that they kind of had in plans of that match what we were looking at getting. So we would check out all of those and then hear the people that are operating them, what they like, what they don't like. That way we can pick and say, oh, they don't like that. We don't have to get that. So that was kind of the plan. So next week, Wednesday, we are going to stop and look at those sites. So
Very
thank you.
big travels.
Thanks.
So as far as that project, that's where we're at, and I will be reaching out to Ms. Olson to try and tighten up feedback on scheduling and meetings. We have not had a kickoff meeting officially yet, so I'd really like to get something scheduled. Maybe we can squeeze it in next week, but I'll see what we can get on the calendar. Any questions regarding the wastewater treatment facility?
I have a question.
Yes.
As far as attendance to South Dakota, is that something that you, Director Shute, and Brendan Goldaddy are attending?
Yes.
Okay, and are you going to video or Skype for Loretta during that time, or are you going to use your otter record?
If she's not able to come with, I can try to video call her either. Some way or another, I'll see if she can get on a video chat with us, so that way she can kind of see exactly what we're seeing.
What that is?
I honestly haven't looked at my calendar yet, so I don't have an answer whether I'll be able to attend or not.
How about $200? I don't know exactly what we pay you, but. That's 48 hours, so.
So then director, I have a question, you're out then for Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday next week?
Yes,
And then, you have enough people in-house to cover, for public works,
there will be bodies.
will be bodies,
Well, that's great.
I can't say their minds are there, but there will be bodies.
Thank you. Wait, so will we have like a total invoice amount for you to attend?
I don't know how we want to address that, so
Can we think about that?
I think we can think about that. I know it's really tight. Last meeting, I proposed maybe because the schedule's getting so tight that we do something remote. So really that is what I had on my brain. But maybe through some discussion too, maybe there's ways that I can be involved without being in South Dakota. So we'll see what we can work out. I will keep you all in the loop as to what we determine. So,
Wonderful.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the wastewater treatment facility?
No, but I agree with you, it was a very nice day outside today.
But I think it would be great if we were able to somehow capture it electronically, so that also if any of the rest of us want to review and.
What it looks like.
That would
I
be a
understand,
great way to
especially
share with
for
us.
Council Bjornstad, Councilmember Bjornstad, if he wants it. That
And-
information.
Just from my standpoint, I've worked with Ms. Olson on other projects. And so it might be something that we could ask her to be that videographer and be able to update with her knowledge about specifics with that thought in mind, that others back here are gonna be reviewing that.
As part of the kickoff,
Maybe that would be a great way to do
the
that.
first meeting in March. Great
So I will reach out and see if we can get her to agree to being a videographer in conjunction with her engineering status.
idea.
Perfect.
Okay. Any other questions? Then I will move on to January updates for engineering. I will breeze through this here. We had a number of meetings which were regular city meetings, council and NPO. We did have a discussion on the water assumption agreement with Bismarck. We did not have planning and zoning or board of adjustment. There were a number of applications in the system. Turkey Meadows is one that I have not been able to determine if they've finalized their petition so that they could get their annexation completed. So I hadn't heard back and I didn't get an answer yet from the county. So I just want to tie that back together and make sure that that gets finalized. Last that I had heard from the owners is they were still working through something with that adjacent property that they were going to share the driveway. So maybe that held something up a little bit, but I'm working to see if I can get an update before I scratch that item off of our list. We also then have the Kearney Point addition with us, which is adjacent to part of Ridge Fourth Edition, that we're having discussion on an access route for that development. I think today we probably got the final answer now as to what we see in the future for that roadway. So we should be able to move forward with both of those developments. Ridge Fourth is at the point where we are finalizing some changes to their design as far as preliminary plat. So I think that one will be moving forward fairly quickly at this point with where we're at. We did have an amendment to the memo that was sent out to all of you for a lot combo. That was lot 18 and 19, block 1 of Echo's Edge. This lot combo, pretty simple, other than it is in a PUD, and as part of our PUD code, they should have a site plan of some sort, along with their PUD, so that we understand basically the rules to follow when it comes to their zoning and how they're developing, because in that PUD status, they aren't following our standards. And that was somehow approved without that site plan. So I'm guessing that that was to come at a future point, and then maybe just with turnover hasn't happened. So we'll see how development moves forward in this area without having that site plan in place. So that will be a little bit of a hurdle for us going forward. We'll have to see if the letter that's part of the documentation that does spell out some of those zoning items is enough to cover all the questions that might come up. So you might have more conversation about that development as that moves forward. We did have a residential development application come through. I'm sure that will start getting increased with the nice weather. Final review of the preliminary plan for utilities in Ridge First and Third Edition have been worked through. So those changes will be forthcoming, although we do have quite a number of questions on utilities as far as the water that's going in there is tying into rural water. So we will be reaching out to rural water to ask a few questions regarding that. Our understanding is that the agreement, there is a letter of agreement for us to tie into that, that it's not permanent. The understanding behind the development is that at some point when we can tie in with city water, we will then move those residents to city water. So we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page regarding that. And we have some other design changes that we are going to look into. I've been working with Chief Fire on those, in addition to the fireworks ordinance that I'll mention again at the end here. So we have some questions. Lighting wasn't a part of the first and third edition either, so there are a few questions to work out. Ridge Fourth Edition, the applicant is currently working with South Central Water regarding access and their concerns about varying pressure zones with water. So in speaking with Chief Dyer, we want to make sure that those water connections are at a pressure zone enough that they'll be able to utilize the fire hydrants if they should ever need them. So if you're wondering where our concern comes from, that's what we're really looking into with regards to the water and the pressure. We did have a resident ask questions about a mobile barber shop. So I don't see enough on our code that will allow us to probably respond in a way that doesn't include some additional ordinance language.
they are looking to see if there's an option to do something in an RV, a trailer, or some kind of mobile, I don't know what the other one was. Sorry, some kind of a mobile vehicle though, maybe like an RV versus a pull behind trailer, but yeah, so I don't know if they are trying to works it something like a food truck where you would stay in one place and people come to you. Or if the thought is people would reach out to you and they would travel to your location. So that more to come regarding a mobile barber shop idea. And then some of our other projects that are our priorities at this time are getting the updates to our zoning map. We found a number of the files that we were looking for to address the annexations and some zoning changes. So that is probably our top priority in our office. And then we've talked about comp plan updates. So we spoke more about those today and we'll continue those discussions. And then back to ordinances, we have moved forward with review of the fireworks ordinance that has been sent out for review. We have a meeting that we planned for Tuesday to work with Burley County Emergency Management to help us with the language and some more up-to-date information so that we get that in the code right away. And so that will be moving forward. And then I have to admit, I fell down some rabbit holes on the beautification. So I am still working on those ordinances and had hoped to have those done for you this week, but I do not. So they'll be coming. And again, I will keep you in the loop as soon as I have a draft of all those ordinances and how they need to change and relate to each other. I will get those out to you so that we can have discussions on what you would like to see addressed and changed versus what the draft says. And Mr. Rumby, I will include you in those so that you have a chance to review them while the rest of the staff is looking and council are looking at those. Any questions on all of this list?
I would just ask. We don't have the draft in front of us,
Right.
right? But to let the general public know, council know, because we're coming up onto the fireworks season and people are gonna start wanting to rent spaces for sales and ordering inventory. So what does this look like?
We are really pushing it. So we had just phone discussion yesterday, meeting today. And then Chief was kind enough to reach out and set up that meeting actually this evening for us on Tuesday. So the hope is that we'll get the input we need and have that draft wrapped up so that we can move it forward.
But it's not to eliminate firework
Correct.
discharge within the city, it's just where the sale of those fireworks stands to be located. Correct.
And it really is, a lot of those numbers are what follow in the International Fire Code. And then whatever input we get from emergency management at the county. So we will, if anyone has questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you work your way through if you have concerns.
I suspect you've been getting calls from vendors.
I have only one, so not yet, but I know that that's coming up. And Mayor, you had mentioned it, as did Fire Chief Thayer. So I know that had a new urgency when I understood that part of it. So we wanted to make sure that that's at the top of our list for ordinance updates. All right. Any questions on this list of items?
Maybe a 2 or 3.
Do you want?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the sale of the vehicle, Director Shu.
Hello again. So I want to get, I want to get a vote basically so I can list our 2 vehicles that we are replacing for sale.
You wanna get what?
A vote on being able to sell them. So we can get them put in the paper and do all that we have to do. And get that rolling so we can get those sold.
Can you state which vehicles they are?
So we have it's an 04 GMC single cab, it's got the word box on it, it's the loud white one that drives around. And then we have, our 2011 Chevy, the gray truck that we have, it's crew cab. That we are gonna basically, we're replacing those 2 with the 2 new trucks. Which we have received one of them, we're just waiting on the other one to be shipped to us.
Disposition. Property?
I would make a motion to approve the
It's
the disposition of the 2004 GMC and the 2011 Chevy pickup.
We have a first by Councilman Bjornsted, second,
I'll second the motion.
second by Councilwoman Artavia. Any discussion? All right, and we get the roll call, please.
Councilwoman Arcadia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis,
Yes,
Councilman Lawrence.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't know a lot to report tonight, just want to keep the council updated that. Yesterday I finished a draft letter to the city of Bismarck addressing the city of Lincoln's request. For a cost share to repair the water line and, setting out the city's position. Concerning, Bismarck's request that they would assume a portion of that line, so we could meet with. The engineers about where and with Terry as to where that assumption should be. And it's in a little bit different place than the city of Bismarck has requested, so I just waiting for Loretta to tell me I can send the letter. I think the mayor's okay with the draft. And we'll get that off to the city, but I just wanted to keep you informed in case it comes up that when we met with the city, they had requested that we put something in writing to them. And that's what this is, and so I assume there'll be some additional discussions that will take place after this gets sent.
Seems.
that's not
That's the only one, no,
There
for
are-
today.
That's enough for today.
Okay.
I got nothing else to report today.
Wonderful. I guess now it's the time we'll call for portfolios, Councilman Artavia.
I have nothing to report, but please see the Bismarck Rural Fire Department report here. There's some on the table if you're interested. And if you have any questions about Kinsey, please reach out to me and I can give you an update.
Perfect, and Councilman Bjornsted.
As I mentioned before, I had a chance to meet with Director Shooter this week, just kind of get caught up again since the change of portfolios. He has been looking at, there's a website for, it's APWA, it's the American Public Works Association. They have all kinds of different learning material and stuff like that on there that they've been going through, and digging into. But another thing that this group has done is they have been working with a lot of cities and states that are gradually starting to recognize the public works department as a first responder. Knowing that a lot of times they are there right away to assist in any emergencies. They're also sometimes the first ones there if there's like an accident where there's like down poles and stuff like that they have to clear out of the streets. They have to plow away through the snow for emergency vehicles to get to any residents in a snow emergency. So just kind of bring it to your attention. We'll probably dig into this a little bit more and see what the process would take if we as a city would like to recognize the Public Works Department as first responders.
Very interesting. All right, thank you. Councilwoman Davis.
For office, we now have a new auditor in-house, Lisa Ani, welcome back. And transitioning for positions being open in the office, so make sure you're keeping an eye out on what is available for positions in City of Lincoln, because we are gonna have many being posted soon, so keep an eye out.
All right, thank you. I have asked our auditor for agenda items in the future to include a short description, a note of who is presenting or bringing the item forward, and outline specific action requested so the council members and the public are more aware of what is going on, because I have seen a lot of things online where the community will assume what the discussion is, and that just causes a little bit of frustration. That isn't necessarily needed. And not only that, but it gives council direction too. So she said that is something that she will look at. We have, the auditor and I have a meeting with Colliers on Tuesday next week. And that is to go over some potential advantages of utilizing bonds for our, to help finance the wastewater facility and that whole project. And we'll provide a little more information on that. At some point, we'll ask him to come in and maybe explain how that process might work rather than utilizing those special assessments, which will be, you know, just to our current residents rather than future residents. So we're gonna take a look at some of that. One of the things, as we were talking about the minutes of the Bismarck Tribune and reducing some of those costs, one of the discussions that we might want to start thinking about is we vote on where we want our minutes posted. And on the ballot, it says, do you want to have, or do you want to select the Bismarck Tribune as this posting authority, or however that works? Well, my understanding is we have to have them available and we have to have them posted for the community, but it isn't required that we post them in the Bismarck Tribune. We could put them on the website. Other communities do this and then have them available at City Hall for the community, which could, you know, save us a lot of money in the long run. This is, you know, in another 2 years. So I just wanted to put it out there to see what thoughts are on that. That's just another avenue of us reducing some of the city.
I want to be clear, though, that we are required to publish. We're required every 4 years to put it on the ballot.
Yes.
But does that publishing, has that changed from being published in the designated newspaper? Or can it be, like you said, can it be just a social media outlet or sent if whoever has requested? I'm just not sure on.
Right, that's why
Mhm.
looking into it. I know Mandan does not put it in the Tribune that I have seen. They have city, counties, and different municipalities put it on their city website under their agenda packets, and we currently do that. So are we doubling up on what is required? And that's an attorney question,
I can
but
take a
not
look and
necessarily
see.
right now.
where we're at with that and
And this wouldn't be for this. It would be the every 4 years, so that. would be
correct,
20.
and I don't know if this is, I think it's the general election, isn't it?
Yes.
That's when it comes, that question.
Mhm, right.
Okay,
And the only reason I bring it up now is when we put it on the ballot, it's never, I guess I haven't seen where it spells out that this isn't a requirement. We can have it here or we can have it there. It's specifically listed out the Bismarck Tribune.
that's what
And-
is on our ballot.
Yes,
It was the
Right.
Bismarck, that's what I'm wondering is if Mandan did not put it a little bit differently on the ballot. That's where I'm wondering if
right,
the,
and that's where it is, if we don't have to, and there's another.
am I echoing?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sorry. But it's like if we have an option. It could,
Part way up.
but yes, that would be wonderful if we could take a look at that. Yeah. And that's. All I have. Perfect. Oh, I do have one more thing. I apologize. Happy birthday to our auditor, Ani.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Connie.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, Auditor Ani.
Oh, now I get, no, I'm just gonna yell, that's too annoying. Oh, there we go. So as far as the auditor's report, I really didn't put anything together yet. Been here a couple weeks. You've seen some changes already as far as positions. I am going to say that 20 or 24 hours, whatever it is I'm contracted for, is not enough. I can already say that. That being said, I'm still going to limit it myself though to access for this position. That I'm going to, it'll come not tonight, but I'm going to have to ask for some, as we are losing the clerk. I'm gonna need to have some kind of a support in there. What I can see though is that there's costs that a city manager, city auditor, they can reduce a little bit of what's happening with our costs for our city attorney and our city engineer. We can bring some of that cost back in-house. And like I said, I've only been here a couple weeks, but we are gonna need a little bit more staffing. That city auditor position. What do I say about that? Is that it still needs to be full-time. That the reason I left last time was because that position needed to be full-time. And a city manager position on a part-time level wasn't available. So I'm gonna go back to that. Some of the management pieces I've already started assuming and started doing. But yet I'm still interim auditor, so there's auditor duties that I need to be doing as well. And to fit that into 20 to 24 hours, it's just not realistic. So we are going to need to get a city auditor in here. And so that's part of my report is that we do need to fill that sooner rather than later. So I will leave that up to you guys. I would like you guys to make some kind of a decision with that tonight. As far as give me some direction, what do I do from here?
And my understanding is you have a job description ready.
I have all the job
For the
descriptions
position
ready.
to go.
I do. They are all submitted to Bold Minds. The new one is Bold Minds will have that one for evaluation with the extra duties that are going to be addressed. But I have them ready. They are ready.
And so that would be ready to go out on Monday also?
It depends on what you want me to, what we need to do, yes, because we could put that part-time manager out there. We could put the auditor out there. And we already have a deputy auditor, we already have an admin assistant, so it just, I need direction.
When you say part-time manager, we could put that out there. Is there another name that we've been calling that? Is that
The city.
A city manager, sorry,
Just part of my.
city admin, whatever
so
it
that's
is,
not gone out yet?
as far as posting,
Okay.
no.
They've been working through the job description.
The job descriptions were finished on Tuesday.
Okay. And I would love to see that auditor posting go out, and fill that position prior to city manager, because it's kind of hard to bring both of those major positions on board. If training or need that has to refer through. Auditor.
Can I ask your thoughts on what she's just said?
On training or what
About
specifically?
bringing a full-time auditor on first and training them through, is that kind of what you're saying, before we bring on a city, part-time city?
I think the problem we're gonna have is my limited time. And being able to train and still do management type. In all actuality, I haven't been able to dig too far just because of the just short time I've been here. But I think that's a lot of what Auditor Wilson was doing, was more management type review and delegation of that, of the auditor duties were delegated out. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Well, basically, I'm just trying to ascertain whether or not we do one of these first, based on, and I'd love to hear
Correct.
Tammy too. You know, what you guys think about what the mayor has just said, because we wanna handle this correctly, we wanna make sure that we get the training done properly.
Correct. I probably need to plead the fifth if there's a way to do that. Can I do that?
Yeah, is it
Oh.
possible for us to hear from you too, Tammy, on this? Do you have something to share in terms of, you know, your thought process?
My thought process was.
Would you sum up? I just don't want us to be doing anything in a knee-jerk way, make sure we handle it right.
I'd like to see them both posted, honestly, so that we can get. New correlation, deputy auditor. Can,
Did you want to say, speak first?
no, go ahead.
The job posting can go out. I will be applying this time.
So which job posting are you specifically speaking?
I'm gonna apply for the auditor.
Okay. So do you have, I guess, an opinion about whether both of these positions need to go out immediately, or do we stagger them because of training purposes? I wanna know your guys' thoughts that are in the jobs now.
In that. Long-term goal. Is. Lisa, or Miss Onington. Is the interim auditor. Okay, and the thought process. Was to have that come in, fill that until we got the auditor in. And then, and I'm just going through what my process is, with having one versus both of them posted at the same time. Is if we then have the auditor filled. And then, we already have Auditor Ani filling some of those city manager duties to where we could utilize her in that position, whether that be interim to allow for us if we're going to do full-time or any of that after the fact. So we would basically be able to use, I hate to say it that way, but use her in both positions, but not in tandem. to do the auditor first and then the city manager, to where you could focus on developing that after the fact.
I
And-
understand where you're coming from. I still wanna hear your guys' perspective because you're in there doing it and you're gonna be doing the training. So I just don't want us to be jumping back and forth. I want us to be as streamlined in this as possible. And I just want to hear everybody's thoughts about it.
Correct. Respectfully, I would want them both at the same time, because if there is somebody that wants to come in and can, and is local, that would be a great option for us to know as far as what my role looks like moving forward. So I think that would be ideal to have them both at the same time. Then I understand what my position is, but that is subjective, not objective. Does that make sense? I would agree. They should both go at the same time.
Do you think that that might mean? Can we put it to where? Well, I guess we don't have the job descriptions in front of us as far as what the changes.
Correct.
So with the city manager and the auditor, do they have the same requirements as far as background, education, and experience? Because if we.
There's more experience required on the
For
city
the city
manager.
manager, okay, because that's a concern. If we put them on at the same time, are we gonna have some people that have to pick one?
Then I
Or-
have that question, is that according to our city policy, we are encouraged as a city to promote from within. Am I considered an employee as an interim auditor that I could be appointed up to that position without it being posted? There's that question as well.
Was that addressed when we were addressing her salary and pay?
I had mentioned that that is kind of where I saw it going, which is why I wanted it to not go out simultaneously, but I guess it's up to council, because council will decide on the city manager.
That promotion from within, am I within now?
That's what I'm, that's.
That's the question I have.
Did we
And-
not address that somewhat when we were talking about bringing her on, that position on, and the financial portion of it? Did we not address that somewhat legally?
I guess I have not looked at the policy, but if the policy is that in current employees, there's a policy of promoting current employees.
encouraged.
Currently employed by the
If
city,
you are.
so I don't.
By
know
the
where
city, there.
Yeah.
I don't know where where the conflict would be.
There
I
wouldn't,
haven't looked at
just
policy.
because of the word interim, it is not a conflict then. It doesn't have to be posted then if it's an encouragement for, in our city policy. It wouldn't have to be if I'm the candidate that they would want to see in that position.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
what
wrong.
policy, first of all, whether or not the policy is binding or is something that you have the
Correct.
ability to not follow. And then also to see what it says, but I don't think the word interim has the same significance that you're placing on it, right? I mean,
Okay.
you are an employee, to some extent. All the employees are employees at will, which means to some extent.
You can be
one
fired.
way, you're all interim, right? So,
Correct.
I don't know that term really has any significance from the standpoint either an employee or not. I think it's probably fine.
And I appreciate you, because that's what I meant. This is where
Correct.
the intent was, and not posting them both ways. So I appreciate that. But I will do that to council.
I for one definitely know, and as far as council knows this as well, we need a full-time auditor position that is on the higher priority list. It takes a lot of the work in the office. It does a lot. It is, and I'm not discrediting a city manager because they're gonna do just as much. That's for sure. We know the office is extremely busy, but auditor is definitely number one, the city definitely needs to have an auditor, so. I would make a motion to have the auditor position be posted ASAP,
And the other.
wait on the other.
Okay, so we have a first by Councilwoman Davis. Is there a second? Is there a second? Discussion?
The discussion for me is, at what point are we gonna address this management position then if we put forth to put out this position for the full-time auditor now, when are we gonna address the city manager, city administrator position? Is it gonna be on the agenda then for next council meeting? So I just don't wanna wait.
I would assume as soon as auditor is filled, then we can move on to the next one and bump it up, but we wanna make sure that auditor is covered, right? And even in that meantime too, that's not to say that we can't appoint or
No,
that's the word I was looking for.
To where we maybe.
In the meantime, we could promote, if we don't have to post it, we could just say, okay, we want to then now put so-and-so in so-and-so position.
I mean, as long as we can just address whatever issues may arise or need to arise in the next meeting, then I'm good with that.
Because both positions are equally important, they definitely need to be filled, if we can get auditor position filled, and then in the meantime, even, we can then, if Lisa Awning would love to be a city manager, then I think that would be great. So, still keep her in-house, still keep her in the office and helping out big time, and auditor position, we said that someone was going to be putting in one, so I'm excited to see where that goes.
And then in the interim, then you make sure that between now and then, if there are no issues. Sure. As possible.
Do you have anything to add?
I was just gonna say, with the motion still being on the table, then I would second.
Okay, we have a first by Councilwoman Davis, a second by Councilman Bjornstead. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Did you want a roll call? It's not necessary. Okay.
I was just going to not talk into this one. I don't have anything else for the auditor's report. We just, there's just a lot going on, just so I haven't got my head wrapped around everything yet.
So she got a roll call in.
Okay.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, public yours.
Oh, you want me to talk again? Councilwoman Artavia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Bjornstead.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? All right, so we will stand adjourned. It is 7:47.